All right, we are back live on the last day of MRC at the beautiful old hotel at Palm Beach. I always want to say West Palm Beach or get them mixed. My California, Florida. I don't honestly know which one it is, but I believe we're at Palm Beach right now, and we're at the dealer funnel booth as always. We've got the awesome banner behind us, and I am joined by the one and only Ashley St. Pierre. There we go. It took me a little bit there. We were just talking. It's like, hey, we're slowing down a little bit on the third day here. Might need a little bit more caffeine here. But she is the marketing director at Fred Martin. And we met probably, was it this year or last year? Just this past year we met. And so I loved getting to know her more about what she's doing and at Fred Martin, just crushing it. So let's just jump right in this. What has been one of your main takeaways of the conference? We're winding down here, but what's been one of your main takeaways?
So to be honest, I came mainly because of Brooke and in trying to figure out what conference, if I could only pick one a year, would leave me with the most action items and actually give me ways to solve those action items. I always leave a meeting with something to do and rarely leave a meeting with how to get it done. So that's what I was looking for here. And my biggest goal was GA4 and getting my mind wrapped around that. And, as much as planning and thought had went into, UA, we are so close to how recently this was all built out that no one is an expert in it yet. So one, it was comforting to hear I'm not alone in that. And two, to get me started, how do I dive in and what partners might I be reaching out to give me a better idea of how to build reports that have gone away, of how to hold my vendors accountable when I can no longer identify their information how I used to. And I sit down in meetings with vendors and they are just as clueless as I am how to look at this kind of stuff. So it was good to get a starting point and come away with a little more knowledge than when I got here and some steps for me to take to continue that growth.
I love that so much. And we had Joe Akers from NADA on yesterday, and he just goes, what I learned, one takeaway, nobody has GA4 set up correctly. I was like, it's true. Even when you think it is set up correctly, there's so many nuances or they change stuff. And so we're all sitting out last night and we go, okay, over-unders. UA was about a year-ish before it stabilized and normalized, what have you. And I go, right now, I thought it was going to be a year, but as we get into it, I go, I think it's minimum 2 years before Google figures out how the hell they're doing stuff. So, but it is. And did you attend the GA4 session yesterday or the one on Sunday? Sunday?
Yeah. I attended the one on Sunday. And, for example, I think that GA4 didn't know what reports dealers were actually using and finding value in, and they just decided to prioritize which ones they were going to preload the system with. And then it's up to you to build your own. And, one of those for me is an hours report. What's our traffic like on an hourly basis by a day a week? Can I get that on a Sunday average to look at things like, we have a television program that runs on Saturdays. How is that impacting our website traffic? I used to be able to easily identify that. Now I have to have my website provider build a report that I have to then have my IT guy interpret because I can't figure it out. And so I think as customers in automotive, and I certainly think we're important to Google, I would hope that they will quickly realize how they messed up. I mean, I've done it on my side, taking things off my website that customers didn't interact with, but then I heard pushback. Oh, the salespeople looked at this every day and needed it. Can you put it back on the website? So I just don't think that they've done enough research on which is odd since they're a research company, what auto demands on a consistent basis and make that readily available. So hopefully there are people much smarter than me working on figuring that out. And I know there are. I have to have that hope.
Maybe. I don't know. You might be pushing the limits a little bit on that one. Like, I know we got Jeff saying here, GA4 for the reason dealers finally pay for analytics. And Jeff, interesting you bring that up. That was actually a topic on multiple different sessions, is that what does Google want? What does Google do? Oh, money. So you have 360 that didn't have to, if you're paying for 360, you don't have to deal with this freaking cluster. And so, but next year you're going to, and while things will be better, they're not, in my mind, they're not going to be fully resolved, because then you've got 360 that's like, oh crap, now we got to deal with this. They're going to find more issues. So Yeah, I just 100% yes on this. It is difficult. So you're talking about the hours there, and what other reports have you found, whether it's through here or, hey, now I know I can find this, or, hey, I try to save it and the report doesn't save, or there's a 72-hour delay in it?
So from what I can tell and what my website provider tells me, the report doesn't exist in the fashion that it used to exist. It can be doctored up to find, but it's very manual. And again, it's a lookup report, Looker Studio. And then there's been times that the data's lost connection for me to look at Looker Studio. And then I have to contact them to reset the connection because maybe the person that built the report doesn't work there anymore. So, and that has happened. So, I've now tasked them again with getting more specific for why I need that information and what I'm going to use to interpret it. And then I also have other vendor partners that I'm asking as well. I do partner with Clairvoy. So can Clairvoy access that data? They have a lot of access to our website. So maybe they know how to figure it out. I got to involve other people here that I've never involved before because the information is not easy and it's not intuitive. So that's my biggest challenge. And aside from that, for the time period we're in, looking year over year between UA and GA4 when I'm reporting on metrics is very frustrating. And my dealer is, he totally understands engagement rate, which is great. That is half the battle for me. But when we're talking about thresholding and filtering out views, your traffic's automatically going to look like it's going down. So if you're looking at website traffic and what those people are doing and you're eliminating part of that traffic automatically, I did learn about how you can kind of skirt around removing thresholding. Do I want to do that? Do I not? Is a different question, but at least the possibility exists.
Well, we've got Ryan in here, and Ryan, another brilliant human being, like the lightning strike, just be like, because how electric he is, saying all I want for Christmas is a last month option and the date range drop down for GA4. Oh, that would be so nice, Ryan. Don't tease. Don't tease. I think it's like Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, any holiday. I mean, threshold, we've got to, there's ways to get around it now, which is, that is better. Why can't I just have data that flows in? By the way, quick rant here. I can go in and look at real-time traffic. Wait, but is it really real-time traffic if there's a delay in all the reporting coming in and the data coming in? So I was like, okay, no. And I'll also say is that if you have someone, going back to your comment about experts and about, terms they throw around, if they're saying that they have an end-all be-all report, I would question that just a hot second, because it maybe is to an extent, but because of all the issues with Google Analytics for right now, I would be cautious with that. Like I personally, I've got to report and I used to do and do this. I'm like, I've got to go to 17 different places to find the one report I want. Now, when GA4 is working, man, it's great. It doesn't happen too often. So we've got a few more sessions today. Have you already planned out your day today to figure out, I want to go to this one, or this one?
Well, I'm definitely going to hit up all the keynotes. Workshops, I'm going to talk to you after, actually, and say, where should I go, Brooke? Okay. Work smarter, not harder. So that's kind of my plan for the rest of the day. Back to challenges of GA4. And one thing that really caught me off guard with my dealer was he pulls data the day after. And I had absolutely, I mean, in one hand, it's goody and it has a knowledge base. On the other hand, it's bad when something goes wrong or isn't working correctly, because he might know it before I do. And we look at 10-day increments. So the first 10 days that we rolled out to GA4, oh my God, our traffic looked terrible. Our conversions were awful. And he's looking at the website provider's backend, which is even worse. And through that first incident, I'm then found out, okay, not only do you have a 72-hour delay, possibly from Google, now you add another 72-hour delay from your website provider, who's then managing that data. So that was one of the early issues I learned. And so now, obviously, we have a system where you're not going to pull the data for like 3 or 4 days after the close of this period. But yeah, as I talked to you about before, I like to be in a room with people smarter than me, because there's so many things that I can learn. And I'm sure no matter what I choose, I'm going to come away with something.
And that's what personally, like we were talking, I think it was Digital Dealer, and I just said, hey, one reason I love this conference is that the quality of education that you get is awesome. And there's just so many people here that are willing to help, that are way smarter than me. And I'm like, great, let me go talk to you. We were, before it's like, hey, make sure, we were had Dan Moore over here. I mean, and his phone is always on. He'll always make sure to help any way he can. And so it is like, we talked about this before as well, but like, even with all of the different booths up here, we got different booths up here. If I have a question about, we've got Kobity over there and Orb, like, hey, wait, so you guys actually work together? If he doesn't have the answer, we can go ask someone. I mean, they're always willing to say, let's find you the answer at the end of the day. Like, and I love that about it. That, like I said, the education and having that. But yes, always surround yourself with people smarter than you, and don't check your freaking ego. All right, so let's go. We taught GA4. Any other takeaways from the event thus far that you're taking back to dealership?
Really, the importance of SEO. I've, of course, had an SEO vendor for years, but in learning that there are emerging partners in SEO that need to be prioritized too. It's not just Google, although they are the lion's share, and how to find a vendor that is prepared to deal with the Bing and Apple and whatever might be coming next, because something is coming, and how you can best set yourself up ahead of that instead of playing catch up and get the most benefit from it when that rolls out. So that's been another one is, I already had a vendor selected, but just reassured me that that is a great direction to go.
I love hearing that. And it is. I think so often we get caught up in whether it's social media or paid search or whatever it is, Mike, but how you doing the basics in-house to say, is your Google business profile optimized? And is it not like once or twice? You're doing this all the time. Like, it's still shocking to me how many times I go through an audit, a dealership or group or my own clients. I'm like, oh, did someone get in here and change stuff? Or did Google randomly just starts throwing random AI categories in there? I'm like, whoa. So are we supposed to accept these? So there's just so much that people have constantly got to be watching. So I had one of my friends, April Simmons, she happened to be, I think she was at a conference and gets ready to get on the plane. And she checks, obviously, profiles all the time and looks. And from the time she checked to the next time she checked, the entire listing was gone, the entire thing. So she reaches out to Google immediately and says, hey, what is going on here? And they go, if you hadn't have reached out right now, that listing would have been gone forever. Like we've all had, I'm guessing at this point, like where the departments get mixed up, or hey, I've got a Genesis and it went into Hyundai or went into the Nissan store, and eventually get fixed. But you're at the mercy of Google when Google decides to do this, because I think it's a bot that's looking at it. It's not a human that says, oh wait, so that really should be there, but I'm just going to classify as that because I feel like it because I'm a bot and I actually have no feelings. So it 100%. It has been so much fun chatting with you and getting just to have your knowledge out here. Is there anything else that you want to talk about or takeaways from the show?
I'm interested to see the future of CDPs. I see now how partners can work together and amalgamate that information, but then what's the action item? As a marketing director, I don't have time to interpret the information and do every single thing that can come out of that. And my salespeople don't either. So I need that to be fledged out more and the actions more automated as to what happens once we review all this data. So I'm excited that that's going to be coming, or maybe is already out there in some regard. But that's kind of the space I'm watching.
And Jeff, yes, I was going for the comedic value on that. So I'm glad that you saw the comedic value in that. You reach out to Google and then maybe you get like the 7 autoresponders that are coming back to you and you're like, oh, can I get the real person? Oh, no, I can't. But yes. Well, awesome. Once again, thank you so much. If you don't know this one, go find her on LinkedIn. She's awesome. So check her out. And we will be back here in just shortly with, I think we got Joe Brown coming up next here shortly. So everyone have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk to everybody soon.